I am so excited that I am finally interviewing somebody on Receptive Radio after a long break. And it's one of my besties, Leah Johnson. And today we're going to talk about resetting, returning to joy, and going to a sacred place like Teotihuacán in Mexico. So hold on to your seats. There's going to be some real good action going on here in the backfield, I'll say, like in the racetrack. But you're on Receptive Radio, your tuning station. I go live every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 1:30 Mountain Standard Time, and 3:30 Eastern Time. And I love connecting with people who are doing wonderful things in the world. And we love to bring you into experiences that up-level you, reset you, recharge you, and open up space for creativity and sisterhood in this case as well, and ceremony. And we're bringing it to you because this is what we love to do. This is what we love to do. So Leah, please tell us about yourself and how you got into this experience, because you've been doing these retreats for over 10 years, right?
No, so I've been going to Teotihuacan for almost 15 years now. I started doing my own retreats about 5 years ago.
Okay, yeah. But you have a
Yeah,
sacred connection with this place too, right?
absolutely. Yeah, it's where like the Pandora's box of transformation opened, and it's been a quite a journey ever since.
Yes, yes. Well, tell us about how that Pandora's box got opened. Why don't you start there?
Yeah. Well, it was, oh goodness, 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. And I was struggling in life. My mom, her health wasn't great, and she was clearly on her transition out. And she and I's relationship had been rather tumultuous with when she was in human form. And I was desperate for something. And a friend of mine recommended some books and said, and you should check out this place in Mexico. I went there and it was really transformational. And I went. I reached out to my dear friend now, Emily Greaves, and it turned out she had something coming up in 3 weeks. And so I took a crazy leap of faith and got on an airplane to Mexico City and went. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And it turned out to be literally that moment that I can look to that everything changed in my life. Now, it took lots and lots and lots of years for that change to transpire. But I would also say the thing I find about Teo is it's one of those places where, when you jump in and allow yourself to feel the energy and become the energy and allow it to transform you, that it's 10 years of healing and change in a week kind of place. And so I did that. And when I originally went, I would have called myself probably an atheist. I didn't have any spiritual beliefs. I didn't have any spiritual practice or connection, whereas today it's quite the opposite. I'm a deeply, deeply spiritual person. And on that trip, I was introduced to Guadalupe, the Great Mother, Tonantzin, as the indigenous Mexicans would call her. And it shifted everything. It created this awareness that maternal love was not earned. It's just there. And that there is a power, spirituality, and it looks like me, and it feels like me, and it's colorful, and it's feminine. And it was actually something I'd been seeking my whole life and didn't even know. And so I really then opened it up to her. And in those early years it would ebb and flow, and I go even months or maybe even a year in that time frame where I didn't really do anything, but it was always there percolating under everything. And she was just there supporting me, and in some ways allowing me to keep moving to the next step that I needed to move to grow and heal. And I always describe my life as I had kind of two tracks, the spiritual track that was dormant for a long time, and then my trauma track, which was, this life and generational trauma. And, they went like this. And then at some point, the spiritual path just overtook, and the trauma path became a narrative that wasn't the dominant narrative in my life anymore, and wasn't how I lived. And I didn't live in the victim mentality, and I forgave others, and I've forgiven myself. And so it was all of that. But through that time, it's been a lot.
Yeah. And so I love that you said you had no idea, like you just went with 3 weeks notice and you had no idea what you were getting into. And the surprise was something you were desperately calling for. Like it was something that you really needed. So it was like a synchronicity, a coincidence, and a divine nudge onto your path. And if you're we have watchers, people watching right now. So please put some comments in the chat if you want, because we can answer some of your comments, because we're going to talk about more about this retreat, because your retreat is coming up in July 13th, I think it starts.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And I'm definitely going on this retreat. It's on my bucket list to go. And I'm not going this summer, but I'm hoping to be there next summer. But why are women what type of woman is wanting to come on this retreat? Like, who are you finding is registering for these retreats?
I think women who are seeking. I think that's a really important part of this. When I went, that first time, I knew there was something, I just didn't know what, and I needed something. And what I discovered is I needed myself. I needed to restore the confidence in myself and reconnect with the divine that was within. And, through the power, and for me, again, the portal has been the divine feminine. And that's how I've reconnected to the divine within me, and understanding that, a spiritual journey, a transformational journey, life in general is a hard fought commitment that we go through to go through all of the things. But someone who says, I know there has to be more. I know that there's something deep inside of me calling and wants me to heal, and doesn't want me to sit in the trauma or the stories or the victimization, all of those things that we do so often, or quite frankly, connect more deeply spiritual. For me, living in the United States, I often say there's a dearth of spiritual connection. And so getting ourselves out of spaces that we don't feel that connection, and find something to know it's there. I think I'm a seeker, and someone who, we do art and creativity on my retreats, but there's no art skills required, because you are already an artist, no matter what. There's no argument. People try and tell me that, oh, I'm not very good. No, you are creative because you are human. And, even before Homo sapiens, there's evidence of our descendants creating. We are creators. And so tapping into that through the power of painting and doodling and journaling and all of those things is what we do. But it's not something that there's skills required. It's you simply have it because you are. So
yeah. Well, I think in Mexico, it has this artistic energy to it, because when you're there's so many artisans selling their art everywhere, right? And you're kind of more in a field of artistic expression than we are in our everyday corporate towers, offices, or houses. Yeah.
Sorry, I have a guest who's decided to join me for a second.
No problem. And so I'll just keep going. So, Leah, you walked away from a 25-year political career. When you went on this first trip, were you were still in that work?
Oh yeah. So in the 15-year journey, it's about, well, really, I mean, I've really only fully been out of politics for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
But about 7 years into the journey, I was an elected official. I served on my local city council. I sorry, I'm still my giggling, my guest. You try so hard. Just don't interrupt mom.
Fine. It's all good. It's normal.
But this is the life.
Real life is happening.
We're living it. That's
Yes,
what we do.
real life is happening. More viewers are dropping on as real life starts to happen.
Yep, that's well.
Yeah.
And there's no let's trying to be something I'm not in all of this. Like, it's very much part of my story. So,
Yes.
but anyway, so 7 years into kind of that from that aha moment, I was serving on city council and I was in active addiction. I had severe postpartum depression. I was, chronic PTSD. I had a list of mental health challenges, and I was desperately sad. And I didn't want to be here anymore. And in fact, tried to take my life twice in that time frame. And my husband looked at me after one time that was nearly successful and said, is this what you want? Is this what you want for your children? And I know it's not. And I had to look at myself and say, and recognize that if I didn't do something different, not only was I going to perpetuate cycles of generational trauma, I was going to make it worse. And so it was in that time frame that I said enough, and I quit city council, and I quit drinking, and I quit a lot of things. And that's when I really started to discover like what my priorities were. And, my kids always came first, and that had to come, everything else came second. And so it was through that process that I really started to transform and grow into who I am today, which is now full-fledged painter and, spiritual mentor and author instead of politician. But it was very hard. And, it's so much ingrained in the fabric of who I am, that to unwind all of that programming and all of those things that have been there for my whole life has been a real journey. And for me, I always say, though, I don't really consider myself a healer in that sense. Like, the only way I know I'm a healer is because I've healed myself. And so the retreat is really about creating a container that allows and empowers women to be brave and take those leaps for themselves.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more about like the actual retreat. What are you going to do on the retreat? Like, and I'm feeling into that professional women who, aren't getting the outlet, who maybe in politics as well, or in the C-suite and operating in that, is predominantly like a masculine energy. Like, you're constantly in a masculine energy. And I'm not going to say it's a bad thing, but this retreat kind of taps more into the feminine side and draws that creativity that maybe has been dormant, or the inner knowing that you have within, that there's more to this, and nurturing and mother energy is something that needs to come to the surface more often within myself, or within the retreat goers' energetic field, or bodies, or minds, or hearts.
For sure. And that's a big part of the work. I mean, this work is constant, right? So, there was this element of like purging the patriarchy from just my being, like all of those years in politics. But it's not about not having the masculine, right? Because we need that duality. We need the masculine and the feminine to work in harmony together in all of our lives, every single one of us. And so for me, it's about really resurrecting and reconnecting and recalibrating that feminine to create that balance, because I spent so long in that really masculine dominated space. And for me, it's kind of a heavy pendulum, went the other way, but for me, it's so important to connect to that, but then also find that balance. And, Ome Teoto is a blessing that they say is an Aztec blessing. And it means the duality of life and the union of coming together, light and dark, masculine and feminine. And so much of the work there is, how do you access what's depleted and needs restoration, all while finding that balance and integration so we can continue on in the world and our beautiful roles that we all have, whether you are in politics or in the C-suite or doing whatever, bringing that wholeness and that oneness to the world allows so much, much more love and compassion and growth and all of those things.
Right. So you take people to Teotihuacán, and I think you even get like exclusive access to it too, that the normal population doesn't. Is that right?
Well, I have long-standing relationships with people there that, they're local healers. And so you get to experience the culture and the place in a very unique way, I would say. So.
And then you get to explore your creative side as well.
Yeah. So every day we go out and about. Most of the days we go to the pyramids and do various places and points in the pyramids, connecting to the energy and the ancestors. And, I am so grateful for being held so many times there by the amazing energy and ancestors that are there. It's just been so crucial to my own transformation. And so it's with deep gratitude that we go and explore and visit these places. And then we also do a pilgrimage, for lack of a better word, into Mexico City. One day we go to Frida Kahlo's house, Casa Azul, she is the, in my mind, the mother, the grandmother, the matriarch of intentional creativity, which is this idea of using creativity, using the tools of artistic expression to process emotion, to process pain. And so we visit her house, and then we go to the Tilma of Guadalupe, which is, to me, the most sacred site I've been to in the entire world, where we see the Tilma of Guadalupe, who that appeared to Juan Diego, over 500 years ago. So
yeah, I'd love to go there. I will be going there. And so what surprises women most about going on this experience with you? Like, what have other women who've gone before told you about this experience afterwards?
I think they find parts of them, they remember parts of them that have always been there, that they have been trying to connect to. Reconnecting to yourself, reconnecting to your soul, finding your center, finding more joy. Like for me, that was so much of my journey. Is I was in such deep, dark depression for so long that to find a place of gratitude and expression and joy is powerful and enlightening. And actually, one thing Emily, my mentor and teacher, says in Mexico all the time is, if you want to be enlightened, lighten up. So we have a lot of fun, and we laugh a lot. And it's those deep connections that you create when you're in a circle with women that create that laughter. And it's joyful. And knowing that, I used to say this all the time when I was in politics, is while the work I was doing was important, I was not that important. And so I think kind of getting to a space where like you understand your importance in it of yourself and taking that on, and then letting go of the things that are not that important, that we don't have to hold on to. And so it's really about that, and that circle of enlightenment, and that circle of support, and that circle of enrichment and empowerment that comes from being with other women who are deeply committed to exploring themselves too.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So we have put the link to register. Well, you can go and find out more about this retreat. There's a link in the I'll be putting another link in the comments if it's not already there under this video, but I think it's in the content above. And if you're on YouTube watching today, please subscribe to my channel, because these are the type of people I'll be bringing on regular. Plus, I also go live alone regularly and talk about like really important things to help you on your journey, to help you on your spiritual journey, your business journey, your life journey, and integration of those things. So please like, subscribe, and comment. And that link will take you to like getting connected with Leah to talk more about if this is the retreat for you. And I mean, it's coming up in July. Your summer vacation for some of you is going to be in July. If you don't have to be feeling desperate, you don't have to be feeling sad, but if you are, this might be something that will get you turning around, get you connected to the joy that you've been seeking. But you can also be like, I want to go to the pyramids. I want to go to this sacred place of Tunantzin. And Mexico with a guide who knows where to go is really valuable, I think. It's really valuable. And I mean, everything's included too, right? Like your room and board and most of the meals are included in the retreat price too.
Yeah, virtually everything is included with the exception of like one meal in Mexico City that day. But so all room and board, all the activities we do, which includes, I didn't even mention this, the last day we do a hot air balloon ride over the pyramids, which is one of the most magical things I have ever done. And I've got the opportunity to do it multiple times. And it is just, you're literally in the cosmos. I mean, we go from the womb of the mother to this realm to the cosmos, and to be in 1 week and to transcend that, the realms, and know that you can transcend them anytime, is really, really makes it an extraordinary experience. So
yeah. Well, any last words that you want to say? Is there anything that you want to say to any women listening today, or any men that know a woman who could use this trip coming up in July?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Jennifer. I don't think I said that at the beginning. I love you. You're awesome.
Yes.
Everything.
I was lucky enough to meet Leah 2 years ago, right when you're ending your political career.
Yeah. And yes, subscribe to her channel and follow all her things and do whatever she says, because she's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
And but yeah, no, I just, it's been an honor to have my life unfold to a place where this is where I'm at. I mean, if you would have asked me on that first journey when I went to Teotihuacán all those years ago, if I would have been leading women's retreats there, 15 years later, I would have laughed at you. And so, life has the most amazing and extraordinary things waiting to unfold. You just have to say yes. And so I hope that this might be that thing that allows you to lean into something new and transform and say yes to yourself.
Yes. Awesome. I love that. So thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 Eastern on Thursdays. And have a great day. Thank you so much, Leah. I'm so grateful that you got me back into interviewing people. And thank you to all our viewers for watching.
Yes, thank you.